Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out another video here on my Marlowe's Marbles YouTube channel. So today's video is all about my favorite period piece shows. I absolutely love a good period piece show, and I'm honestly trying to remember which was the first show that turned me on to period piece shows. I want to say it's actually one, as I just looked through the list, which is literally right below the camera. So forgive me if I look down every few minutes or so, I have a list so to make sure I don't forget any of my absolute favorites. So one of the shows that is on this list is a show that I happened upon on Netflix, I believe it was, and I absolutely fell head over heels in love with it. And then in the area of suggestions that Netflix gives you, it recommended some other shows, which of course I will be sharing in this video. And then it just started a whole, pardon me, it started a whole love affair of period piece shows. So what I want to do with you guys is to share my favorites. I think I'm going to start just from, excuse me one more time. Whew. Not sure what got in my throat there. So I'm going to share from the period piece that goes all the way back to, I guess, what would be like present day. So let's start off with the show Reign. Now, Reign recently ended about, I want to say, a year or two ago, and it takes place in the 1500s, and it tells the story of King Francis and Mary Queen of Scots and Queen Elizabeth, and it is an absolutely fantastic show. I highly recommend it. If you like shows that have to do with royalty like I do, then I highly recommend this show if you have not seen it already. And really it just tells the story of Mary Queen of Scotland, her growing up, and her of course dating and then marrying who ended up being the king of France, King Francis. And it just tells the story, and it's an amazing and romantic, and it's very full of like adventure and a little fighting here and there, which is never a bad thing. And it's a really great story, and it really depicts that history very well. Of course, some of it had to be fiction in the show, because I think it did end up lasting like 4 or 5 seasons. So they did have to fictionalize a good deal of it, but a lot of it did stay true to the actual history. So check that one out. So I am really, really like a lover of a lot of those actors and actresses from that show, and I have actually since followed their careers and what they're doing. And so let's get to the next one. The next one is from the 1800s. It's called Lark, Candleford. I found this on Hulu actually, and it was a few seasons, and it just tells the story of a girl that comes from a woman, I should say, that comes from a little known village that's about maybe 10-20 minute walk from the main city. She gets an office at the post office in the main city, and she becomes like a more city gal, and just what her family goes through and what the two towns go through. And obviously one of the towns is called Lark, and then the other one is called Candleford. Candleford is the more well-known city, and then Lark is the smaller town that she comes from. And it's very like quaint show, and it just really does show it really does depict really well that time frame. It's from the 1900, probably like late 1800s, early 1900s. So it depicts that style very well. It depicts what was going on in life and in country life. So it's not like country as far as farms or anything like that, but it does have some little bit of farm life here and there, and it does kind of depict just small town life, is my best way of expressing that. Is it does depict small town life very well. So check that one out. The next one I want to mention is Victoria. Of course, that one is another royalty show. If you, for those of you who are royal fans, of course, that one happened in the 1800s, or that takes place, sorry, in the 1800s, and it shows the. I'm not sure if it's on Hulu or Netflix, or you might try Amazon Video. Of course, most of these shows are either found on all three or one of them, so you should be able to find all of these shows, by the way, really easily. I do want to mention that. And if you don't, just comment down below and let me know, and I will do my best to I will do my best to put you in the right direction so that you can see the show if you'd like. Anyway, let's get back to the third favorite period piece show. Like I said, it's Victoria. It really just depicts Queen Victoria when she was young and when she was made to be Queen Victoria, and then it literally just ascends and continues on from there and shows her really becoming the queen of England, and just how she managed her staff, how she managed being a queen, and all that goes with it. Her marriage, of course, to Prince Albert, having kids, all of that. It really depicts that well. So definitely check it out. My next one would be The Paradise. That one takes place in the late 1800s, and that one is all about a show of a department store opening up in England, and it was one of the first actually period piece shows that I ever watched, was The Paradise, and that started really my love affair with period piece shows. So I told you my favorite was in this. Obviously all of these are my favorites, but ones that started my love of period piece shows was The Paradise. And like I said, it just depicts really the story of a department store opening in England and all that goes along, of course, with opening a department store and managing it, and all of the workers and the town buying products from The Paradise. And there's some really great storylines in that show. So if you like that kind of show, then I highly recommend that one. One that I forgot to put on the list, but happens to be around the same period time, is Mr. Selfridge. And it really does tell the story of the Selfridge Company, which is a real company in England, or used to be. I'm not sure if it still is. That I would have to look up. But it also shares the story of a department store opening and all that goes along with that. And it's really captivating. I mean, obviously all of these shows are captivating because they captivated me and I fell in love. But Mr. Selfridge specifically is very, very captivating. It really, from the moment any of the episodes of those 2 or 3 seasons start, I think it's actually 4 seasons now that I think about it. It really just pulls you in, and it keeps you really captivated very well. I apologize if I said captivated a lot there. But I'm really excited, and I get really, a lot of adrenaline when I'm excited about something. So let's go on to the next one. The next one would be, Z, The Beginning of Everything. That one is new. It's in the past couple of years that it actually came out. It started out as a first season, and then they added a second season, which I'm really, really glad that they did, because it just sums up the story very well. But it tells the story of F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it tells the story of his wife. It's mainly from her perspective, and him writing the stories and her writing the stories, and it really is a tremendous story that really shows you the life of an author, and all that an author and his family go through while writing a book. and, you know, writing obviously some of the books that became some of the most well-known books still to this day. So it's just a really excellent story. Obviously, like I said, the story is more or less from Zelda Fitzgerald, from her perspective, but it's just a fantastic story, so I highly check it out. The next one I would like to mention is, I'm looking on my list here, which ones I have marked off. I would say the next one then is, we're up to 1900s, 1920s, so 1930s, 1940s. So there's going to be a lot of these shows, just FYI, in the next few minutes. This first one to start off the 30s is Upstairs and Downstairs. I actually found it somewhat recently in the past year, and it is a show that depicts the 30s and into World War I and World War II very well, and it just tells the story of a family that is connected to the war, who the husband works for the war, and it just depicts really well the story of that time and of what these families and what these cities and towns were going through during the war times, and really like what goes on and what happens, you know, upstairs with the elite, and what happens downstairs with the servants and maids and whatnot. So it just really shows that those two different types of people very well. That's my best way to express it, is it shows all of the lower class very well, and it shows the upper class very well. And then my next one after that would definitely have to be, let's see, I'm just trying to decide which one to go here. Let's do 1940s. So that's the collection. That one came out in the past year or so, and it just really tells the story of clothing designers and their whole life, the excitement, the drama of creating designs that are put in stores and selling them, and obviously making what's in style at the time, which, like I said, was the 1940s. So just really showing what a designer goes through and what a designer, it kind of shows just what their life is like while they're designing the clothes that do go out to, of course, everybody else, that everybody else ends up buying, the, couture pieces, the ones that end up becoming iconic pieces in fashion. It just really shows that very well. Now, the next few are also part of the 1950s into 1960s, and the first two shows that I want to mention are actually absolute favorites that also turn me on to period piece shows. Just like I mentioned before, The Paradise was one of the first shows. These next two are the other two shows that also got me hooked into period piece shows. And the first one was Bomb Girls, and it tells the story of these girls who, instead of working at home and, instead of being at home and being the homemaker while their husbands are off fighting in World War II, it shows that the girls actually went to work and worked for a bomb factory and created the bombs that ended up obviously going overseas and killing soldiers and killing people. But it really shows really well that we women, we didn't just sit at home and take care of the kids and clean the house and do all those chores and just be a homemaker, that we actually participated in the war, and that we participated in being a part of that life and doing what we could for our country. Now, it does not actually take place in the US. The story actually takes place in Canada, but it is really just a really amazing show that really depicts that time frame, that World War II life very well, which also leads into the next one, which was Land Girls. Land Girls also shares the story of some of these women who participated in the war, but I guess kept it a little closer to home, so to speak. They worked on lands. They worked for well-known upper-class families and helped to keep the land. So they did everything from gardening to mowing to picking fruits and vegetables, or of course planting everything for vegetables and for fruits, and just taking care of the land, taking care a little bit of the home too, but mostly just taking care of the land. And that whole time frame, that one I believe takes place in England, and it's just it just depicts also that wartime very well. The next one actually goes right into the war as well. Obviously, I'm sure at this point you guys have noticed a trend with World War, and that's when a lot of these shows are depicting of those times, but it really gives you a very amazing glimpse into that time frame. So this next one is called the Bletchley Circle, and I actually want to mention before I go into a description of this show is that there is actually, and I'm really, really excited for this, they have decided to come out with another Bletchley Circle show, a TV series, which hopefully should be coming out in the next year, fingers crossed. And they're filming it now, so I'm really excited. I hope it premieres sooner than next year, but if I have to wait a year, I'll wait a year. But anyway, so the Bletchley Circle, this one takes place also in the 1950s, early 1950s, and it shows women who really also participated in the war. They broke codes from the Nazis. So they, the people that they worked for would, do surveillance, and they would get messages through spies and through investigators, and they would bring them back to the Bletchley Circle, and these ladies actually depicted codes and secret messages that ended up obviously helping their side, and helping to win the war, and helping also to save probably thousands to millions of people from the Nazis, helping and just helping in general with what was going on in that time. So definitely check it out, and check out the new Bletchley Circle. If I find a premiere date or something in that time frame, I will let you guys know in the description below. I don't think I know because I think it's still in production. The next one I want to mention is, let's see. All right, let's go into actually The Crown, which has been very popular as of late, and that just shares the story of Queen Elizabeth II and her rise to becoming queen, her everything that happened, essentially everything that happened with her becoming queen, how she became queen. I'm not sure, I cannot remember, to be honest, if the first episode shows like when she became queen. But I think it shows that time frame, and then it goes into her carrying on all of the duties of being a queen, her family, her sister, all of that. So it is another wonderful show. I highly recommend it. And then Call the Midwife, that's another popular one. I think right now it is in its 7th or 8th season. I'm very excited. This is one of my, out of the whole entire list, this has to be one of my all-time favorites, just because it is still going on. It is still a show that's premiering. So a lot of these shows, of course, have ended a while ago. They've ended for at least a year or two or so. So Call the Midwife, depicts very well the women in the 1950s and 60s in England who were midwives, and just it depicts very well that time frame of what these women had to go through as midwives, and the families that they got to be with and help, and stories that obviously occur surrounding births of children, and all the good births and all the bad births and all the good and the bad of children, and health concerns and diseases, and it shares all of that very, very well. It is, like I said, is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. And so yeah, it is definitely a show to watch if you like that kind of thing. And then let's see, after that, I guess I would just have to go back to the most recent show, which is from the 1960s, and fingers crossed that it comes back. I know some of the actors and actresses that worked on this show that I'm about to mention are trying to get another season made, so good luck to those ladies. And this is the last and final one on this list. I'm so sorry to share that. I wish I had more to share with you as far as favorite period piece shows, but this is my last one on the list. It's called Good Girls Revolt, and it shows what women got to do when it came to press, when it came to newspapers, when it came to Time magazine and newspaper and all of that. Everything that deals with journalism is this show. It is absolutely phenomenal. It really, really shows what happened in the workplace in journalism, how some of these men and women got the inside scoop, so to speak, on different stories and different pieces and different news that were happening right then and there, and how they got those stories and how they got them published, and just life in that time. It shows it very, very well. And I know just from speaking to people, of course, that were journalists in that time and that have seen the show, they said it does ring very true to what was going on in journalism back in the 60s. So that is it. I'm so sorry, like I said, to share that is the last one on the list. But like I said, please do recommend any period piece shows that I did not obviously share in this list that I have not seen. I know that there's a couple popular ones that I've been told I should see. I know one of them, of course, is Game of Thrones. I'm not really a Game of Thrones kind of person. I've tried watching an episode or two, just didn't get into it. And I've also been told to watch Downton Abbey, which I definitely for sure will try as soon as I can get it from either a friend or get it from the library. Oh, that is another thing, speaking of. If you are unable to find any of these shows on Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon, please do yourself and do your local library a favor and see if your library has it. Go into their library network, either online or go to the library, and I will make sure to put in the description below the names of all of these shows, so that if you want to, like, let's say copy and paste it into an email to send to yourself, or to jot down the list easily so you don't have to go through this whole entire video just to jot each one down, I will put it down in the description below so you can easily jot them down so when you do go to the library, you have a list of what to ask for. See, of course, if they already happen to have it on the shelves, and if they don't, they should be more than happy to to be able to get it for you. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. I know it has been a long time coming. As I'm sure you all see, I dressed up a little bit for this video. I thought it was just appropriate given what I was talking about. So anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know that you enjoyed this video. And if you have any recommendations, like I said, put them in the comments below area of any shows that you'd like me to check out or think that I would enjoy. Also, please, of course, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely love to have more Marlo's Marbles YouTube family. That's what I call you all. It's my family, my friends. So I would love to have more of you. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Please feel free to see and watch any of my other videos. I do a lot of shopping hauls. I do some DIYs. I do some cooking with me videos. And also, if there's anything that you'd like me to record. If there's any kind of video that you'd like to see, please comment down below and let me know what kind of video that you would like to see, and we'll see if I can make it happen for you. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day or evening whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, y'all.